So the purpose of acceptance criteria. We want to define the boundaries of a user story. So think about a user story that's been developed, and here's a good example, and this is a real story that happened to me. I had a user story one time in a Scrum team where they wanted to develop a notification, put in future notifications that would automatically email out on the date that you specify. Easy enough, the thing to implement, I would think. So we get together, we start doing acceptance criteria. We start looking at it. I said, okay, I got the user story. How far in the future do you want the notifications to go out? The business customer said, oh, I don't care, it doesn't matter how far in the future. I said, okay, well let's do 500 years in the future. Let's see what happens. That's the first test we write. Oh, no, we don't want to go that far out. Exactly. So now let's get exact, more precise on what do you want. How about 2 weeks? Does that seem reasonable? That sounds good. Now we've got a specific test that says we're gonna test that you can set a notification for 2 weeks in the future. Beyond 2 weeks, failure, right? If we get anything less. Oh, in that case, we also need to put in an error message if we try to do something that's in the past. You can't do a future notification in the past. There's another acceptance criteria. So that's how it works. It also helps the product owner to kind of flesh out in their mind what they really want. Sometimes customers ask for things, and then once they see it, they go, yeah, that's what I asked for, but not exactly what I think I want. Now that I see this, I maybe want something different. So by having these conversations, we're hoping to lead the customer down a path so they can flesh out their own ideas together with us to create that shared understanding of what they really want so we can develop the right thing. It helps the team gather that shared understanding together. So together we start off with very little information, and as we collaborate on it, as we share information, as we ask questions, and as we write acceptance criteria together, we're gaining that shared understanding. And sometimes that shared understanding takes a completely different path than when we first started, or what we first thought we were going to develop or build, based on the question of other people. Because what happens is, using the Socratic method, if you ask one question, it will lead to another question, will lead to another question, and eventually we answer enough of the questions, we'll be at a higher level of understanding across the entire team. That's the idea. This also helps the developers and the testers derive a test out of that. So the output of acceptance criteria is not just write a bunch of stuff down, but to actually get to specific tests that we're going to run and the developers know we're going to run. So think about it like this. If you know the answers to the test, if you're going to take a test at school, if you know the answers, shouldn't you make an A? And that's the whole idea. Give the answers up front, and then therefore we can pass the test, the acceptance test. And it also helps developers know exactly when to stop adding more functionality to a story.